A4. Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome to Solidworks Live. So, for those of you who are new to this program, this is a live stream series that we run once a month where you get to see a variety hour of what's best and what's new with the software that matters most to you, like 3D design, CAM, simulation, and more. And we also tend to dive into areas like our amazing partnerships, services you can and definitely should take advantage of to advance your products and career, and groundbreaking news that shakes up the industry. And as you've already seen this week, and probably know yourself, that's what Titans of CNC is all about too. That's really the foundation of what makes our partnership so special. A shared desire to innovate and push the boundaries through our respective capabilities, which inevitably empower our communities. So we kicked off this Titan Trifecta streaming series off 2 days ago with Manufacturing Live, where we got to hear from Barry, Jesse, Trevor, and Travis with our own John Milbury. They explored a wide variety of manufacturing topics for the future, which stemmed from their own personal insights. And then, of course, yesterday, Barry and I hung out as we explored his tried and true methods for making aerospace parts inside of Solidworks, sharing tons of personal insights that I hope made, or will make if you watch it later, you feel like the luckiest fly on the wall. And as a reminder, on that note, all these series are recorded and almost immediately posted to our YouTube channel here at Solidworks, so be sure to like and subscribe for new episodes of all our streaming series. We have a jam-packed agenda here today on Solidworks Live, where we will talk about game-changing software and services powered by both Solidworks and Titans of CNC, many of which we could not have done without one another. Along the way, if you're here live, ask questions. That's one of the major benefits of watching live versus recorded later on. And we'll do our best to get to them here on camera. So without further ado, let's catch up with the guy that I've gotten to know pretty well over the past few years here at Titans of CNC, Dave Cox, as we explore our partnership and its history in greater detail. Let's get to it. So here we are. We're here on Solidworks Live. We are at Titans of CNC, and I'm joined by Dave Cox. Dave, how's it going, man?
Doing good, doing good.
Good to see you.
Happy to have you guys here. It's amazing you get to come to Mecca and see what's going on here.
Yeah, and I've talked to you so many times over the years. Again,
Yeah.
like it's just cool to meet in person, be here, feel the energy. We've been paying a lot of attention to this lion here. What's this story all about?
So the lion, the chessboard, all of these like kind of more artsy pieces that you see, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are ways that we actually use to draw people into the industry. So we're doing projects like this. We call this a part. This is an art part.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we're showing people that this metal stock turns into this amazing lion head, right? And by doing that, we're trying to draw people in. We're showing them kind of the breadth of what's capable with this part manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Not even just from a design standpoint, but people don't really understand what goes into this until they see a video that really highlights it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how are you gonna first off get it so smooth and get all these different lines going crazy? How are you gonna find a tool that gets back in here behind the teeth without breaking the teeth?
that was the first thing I told you before I saw any of the videos online. We'll talk all about what Titans of CNC really is, but you know, just focusing on this, I'm sure you guys are wondering, like, what is this? That was the first thing I noticed. It was the teeth. It's like, how do you get a tool in there and not chip off the teeth? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, in the finishing rounds, right? So you have this really expensive piece of titanium, 6AL 4V titanium, that number one is heavy as heck. So this giant cylinder of it, and the material's super expensive. So by the time you get in here and you're finishing, you could ruin this part very easily just by nicking one of these teeth, by breaking something off. And so it's really teaching you kind of that mentality of what tools do you choose? What are the feeds and speeds? What kind of you know, chip evacuation do you need to not screw yourself up? And then also down here, how do you hold it?
Yeah, how do you hold it? It's important. This thing is heavy.
It's insane.
It's titanium. And I like how you guys kept it.
Yeah.
You know, we can see it's titanium here. It's very heavy. I know you can't pick it up at home, but yeah, it's very heavy.
Yeah, I want to say that our fixture on it has like over 100,000 pounds of clamping force to hold this, because if you think of, you know, and you've seen the video,
Yep.
This thing is moving around in real 5-axis space, and it's like everything is just insane.
Yeah.
So that's a super fun project.
Yeah, it seems it. So I mentioned we're here at Titans of CNC. You mentioned in the welcome that we've had 2 episodes prior in our different streaming series.
Yep.
But you and I talk about it, right? Titans of CNC, big name. Solidworks, very big name, but not everyone has heard of or knows everything, right? So for those of us that, we have Titans of CNC followers watching today, Solidworks subscribers watching today. For those of us who maybe aren't as familiar with Titans of CNC and all that you guys do, just give us an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So Titans of CNC is really, it's a online group of academies plus entertainment. So we're educating and we're entertaining about the manufacturing industry, right? We're showing people what's possible, and then not just what is aspirational, but the technical details of how to create these things. You'll see through our academies that we literally give you click by click by click, setting by setting, number by number instruction, as if Titan himself or Barry himself was standing right over your shoulder and saying, here's exactly how you do it. And what we've seen through this is we're literally taking people from zero knowledge in some cases into part manufacturing very, very quickly, much more quickly than the traditional education methods.
Yeah.
It's really unreal what we're able to do. So there's some stuff over here I can actually show you.
Absolutely.
You want to take a look at that?
We're on a live stream.
That's right. In manufacturing, there are so many personal stories with how people get involved. Like we heard from the guys on the panel, on the first day of this whole thing. How somebody gets involved in manufacturing really it plays a lot into how they're going to solve those problems within manufacturing. All that they really need is to understand the tools. Once you relate it to baking, once you understand how an oven works, how the pans work, how heat and flour and salt work,
all the different pieces, right?
then you just need the recipe. And you can start to get creative with that recipe. And so what we're really doing is teaching the fundamentals on these things. We're teaching very advanced manufacturing as well. So some of our parts, actually, if you want to come in a little tighter, that'd be cool. So teaching people from the building block number 1, Titan 1M, right? The famous little part that we have. But it teaches people how to make a block. It teaches them how to do holes, thread, face mill, do pockets, all of that kind of stuff. And this is the first piece they're going to create in the Titans of CNC building blocks. Going from this into other elements, learning live tooling on a lathe, learning different lathe work. We talk about how we hold parts and fixturing, and how do you set up a piece of work, a fixture plate that can then hold multiple parts so that you can be more productive with what you're creating. All of this is curriculum as well, walking people through exactly how to do it. So what we look at these academies as is those are a starting place. The building blocks with 10 parts that you create on a mill, the rocket series with 10 parts that you create on a lathe, and then our fixturing series are kind of the foundation.
You look around, being here, it's like you walk in, for me, you kind of have that fanboy moment, right? It's like, I've watched you guys for years, even before we had ever met. Seeing, of course, your shop here, your big production facility on YouTube and all your different outlets. It's super cool. You see, the power of your partnerships, not just us, but, Doosan, Kennametal, all the others. We've been partners now. I'm sure a lot of you from the Solidworks community know this, and Titans of CNC community as well. We've been partners now for, it's crazy to believe it, a few years already. What was it really, if you think way back, what was it really about Solidworks that you were like, I definitely want to partner with those guys?
Yeah, it's an easy decision, to be honest. You guys make it super easy, which is great, right? It's Solidworks, a leader in the industry, obviously. One of the easiest to use softwares, the most ubiquitous in part creation, in design.
That's why I fell in love with it before I worked here.
Right, exactly. It's the same reason people use Photoshop for creative design, and they use these different signature programs that are there. With Solidworks too, it's what the industry is using. That's where we want to be teaching. We don't want to come from the far side and say, hey, here's something you've never heard of that you should probably start thinking about. We want to go, hey, these are the leaders in the industry. You can get a job literally anywhere. If you understand Solidworks, if you know it, you're immediately employable across the country, across the globe, making more than 30 bucks an hour, like to start. Like, you understand it, you're really good to go. So Solidworks, number 1, super easy to use, excellent interface, all those things. And that's kind of been the ethos of the entire company. That's why all of our partners exist. We have to believe in the product. We have to believe in what you guys are doing. And honestly, it's the people behind the product as well. Like seeing throughout this experience and our other chats, like seeing your passion for the industry and seeing your passion for design and what Solidworks is doing, and honestly how much you guys, you know, love Barry and feed into him. Like, the dude's a monster when it comes to design, right?
Oh my
so
God.
it's like, it's really cool to get into a room, and I think other people in manufacturing and design, anytime you're in that niche and you have a passion for it, meeting other people that share that passion, you immediately hit it off.
Yeah.
And you can really tell.
Yeah,
you can tell when somebody is
we
not
were
that.
talking about that. You can, there's a palpable energy, especially when someone gets on camera.
Yeah.
You can really tell. So you guys know that full well, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And if somebody's, you know, BSing us, or if they're just like, hey, I'm not really into it, my heart's not in it, and that can be from, you know, our community, it can be when we are hiring people, or honestly when we're sussing out partners and we're trying to figure out who we're going to partner with. It really does play into who are their executives.
Yep.
Who are the people that we're going to be working with on a daily basis? Who is leading them? Who's leading the company? What do they really believe? Does it match with Titan's, you know, desire to really change the industry and push things forward? Or are they happy just playing defense and not trying to move forward? Like, we don't like those types of folks.
So I mentioned on live design yesterday, you know, I teased it out. I said I would tell the story. We were, a few years ago, we were getting ready for 3D Experience World, which was like our big, you know, yearly conference, right? And Suja Jain, I was on his team. He's a VP here at Solidworks, and he messaged me. He said, hey, Titan Gilroy's reached out. And I was like, it was one of those moments, you know, we're all busy with work projects, but you look down, and you're like, wait, I gotta stop what I'm doing. Like, this isn't the Titan Gilroy, right? I told Titan this story too. I was just like, there's no way. But yeah, I mean, all that to say, totally likewise. Like, when I saw that you guys were reaching out, I was like, this is one of like my coolest just career moments in general.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it's
a super cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome to be working with you guys and working with people, you know, not just you guys, which you guys are great, but your community as well. Like the Champion program, everything that you guys have. Like, these are folks who are, again, passionate community members. We have our Facebook group, who is, you know, full of passionate people who are asking questions and trying to get answers and that kind of thing. But you know, even watching some of the comments that are going on the stream, and probably even right now, you know, understanding that you guys are super into it, that really helps a lot. So
absolutely,
yeah.
So how can we, you know, we talked about it, we've been partners for a few years now. You know, how can those of us at home, you know, how can we take advantage of the fruits of that Solidworks Titans of CNC partnership?
Yeah. So number one, we have the Solidworks deal, right? So there's the amazing deal on software that you, as, you know, at-home students, that kind of thing, can take advantage of. I'm sure we'll throw the link in there for folks who haven't seen that link yet. But that's a great way to take advantage of it. There's a ton of education. Yeah. Honestly, in the academies, like I showed you with the Classic Academy, this is like our 5-axis, you know, aerospace academy that we have, talking about tooling and everything else. All these different elements exist to show you the breadth of manufacturing and really to bring you in at whatever level you're at. And so in each academy, we talk through SolidWorks. We're giving legitimate instruction. Barry is there with his voiceover, and he's sharing his screen. He's telling you exactly what to click on. So if you're coming from little to no knowledge in SolidWorks, all the way up through very advanced elements and stuff he was talking about with knitting that I don't even understand. Like, I don't understand that world at all. I'm proud of you guys who do.
But that's the thing. That's exactly what you were saying earlier, right? That's the stuff that, like, you know, we've all been using Zoom for forever now, and that's the stuff you don't get, right? It's like you don't get that energy. But when you're a person, you're looking at the same part. Yeah, totally.
Exactly. So yeah, you get Barry's instruction on all these academies, and you know, the cool thing is, and I've never worked for a company like Titans of CNC before. Like, I've been in advertising my whole life and all that kind of stuff, and everybody in advertising wants to charge you something. Everybody's charging for things, and everything costs money, and there's no such thing as a free lunch. But when I came here, and Titans focus on everything being completely free, like all the education, this world-class stuff, access to Barry, access to Jesse and Tyson and our other machinists, and even Travis, who does GD&T and all the measurement stuff. Like, it's just incredible that you get access to this brain trust for completely free, 100% self-directed, like you at your own pace. You know, it really is. It's a digital apprenticeship. You know, in the apprenticeship world, you look at what they're doing in Europe and, you know, Germany, Switzerland, all those kind of places, and they're known for having the world's best apprenticeships. But the way that they teach, they're great at the structure of it, but the way that they teach still takes 2 to 5 years. what we're doing is a digital apprenticeship, right? So it's at your own pace. You can go as fast or as slow through it as you want. So if you're already employed, that kind of thing, like you can literally just learn on your own schedule, and then increase your skills, increase your marketability, the money you can make, the food you can provide to your family, all that kind of stuff.
You guys are totally unique in so many regards.
Yeah.
I think just one I'd like to speak on now is I talked about, you walk into this shop, this facility, you see all the different partners, but just the fact that, and I mentioned too, you guys have so many, the fact that you're able to bring those partners together.
Right.
All different capabilities, and you continue to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a new facility, right? You guys have like such crazy potential too.
Yeah.
And you're already like incredibly huge, pervasive all across different industries.
Yeah, I mean, in the future, the near future, we have obviously just launched our grinding academy.
Yeah.
Which is very cool, right?
Yep.
So that brings on new partners of United Grinding and Tyralit. We're expanding the product line that we show for Blazer, that kind of thing. And then obviously we're going to be talking about design for grinding, processes and that kind of thing. But we're going into Swiss machining. So that's from the ultra big stuff that Titan loves, right? It's got to be big, raw, massive, shove through metal.
Yep.
To the really tiny, like, how do you make watch parts?
Yeah.
So it's literally
Swiss
covering the
machining's
gamut.
insane.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's so nuts when you see these, like, bar stock comes out, 12 tools come in, parts done. Like, what the heck? So, how do you design these micro things as well? Each partner that we bring on, like we said, they're all 100% on purpose. Everything feeds into that recipe. I look at Titan as a chef in a lot of ways, and the guy just understands all of his ingredients, and he's giving everybody the exact recipe to follow, from speeds and feeds to exactly how you design a part, how the mentality is, like the strategy from the get-go on a part. So from design into programming into actually creating it, there's strategy that fits and shifts throughout that. If you understand all of that, then you can make even better parts. You can be more efficient, all of those things. So it takes literally every partner that we have to make those things happen. You guys are a big part of it, and I love it.
Absolutely, man. Likewise. So we're actually, you're here pretty much at the head of the episode, but you'll be back.
Right, that's right.
So we've been talking a little bit about something new that you guys are coming out with. I'm super excited about it. I mentioned it on Live Design yesterday.
Yep.
CNC Expert.
Yes.
There's cncexpert.com. You can go sign up to be notified. But we got a sneak peek.
Yeah.
I felt super jazzed to get a sneak peek. It was, on Zoom, he's like, this is what it's going to look like. I'm like, there's nothing like this. How does this not exist yet?
That's right.
So I'm super excited for others to see that now.
Yeah, we're excited to show you guys and show the community. Honestly, we've been having discussions about this platform for the past, I'd say, couple of years, honestly. Yeah. And it's one of those ideas that there's a hole in the industry and they need it. And then you have to try to figure out, like, there's umpteen ways we could fill that hole and actually fill this service. How are we going to do it? What's it going to look like? Who are we going to involve? What are enough features that it's not feature overload? Right. How can we make it so that it's immediately usable? Everybody loves it. They all want to be a part of it. And again, it's free.
It's free.
It has to be free. So how do you create this amazing thing and make it free, right? That's our challenge, and I get to show you guys in a little bit.
Yeah.
Super fun.
So please, stay tuned for that. You'll definitely want to. I would say whether it's one of those things that's super ubiquitous. It's like whether you're a manufacturer, you're a machinist, inspector, so many different applications for this specific service. And you guys, it's again, like I thought, how does this not exist yet? But it's because it's like you guys haven't created it. You're in that unique position that pretty much no one else is in to create it. And man, the sky is the limit. I cannot wait to show this off.
Yeah. It's honestly, every day is exciting here.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I've been excited every single day I've been here.
Just when we launched the Grinding Academy, it's like, all right, here's what we're doing next. Now we're going to finish this. We're going to release it. And, it literally is, and this is kind of a teaser of what's coming ahead, but it literally is bringing in, elements of different services and different platforms that people know and love, and it's bringing them in from the perspective and the mind of a manufacturer. So if somebody in machining and design created a place for everybody else who's involved in that to live, this is what that home would look like. Yeah. And it's exciting times for sure.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, we'll check back in with Dave a little bit later, but for now, we are going to do a deep dive with Mr. Barry Setzer. He's been on all 3 episodes of the Titan Trifecta somehow.
Getting our money out of him.
Oh, absolutely. While we're here. Barry Champions Program. I was like, I got to meet that guy in person. So we're going to check in with Barry right now. do a bit more of a deep dive on the technical end of the Titans of CNC Academy. And we'll see you later on this episode for a special announcement.
Perfect.
So once again, we will check back in with Dave in just a moment. Just ran over these stools here, and I'm joined by the amazing Barry Setzer. What's going on, Barry?
How's it going, Sean?
Pretty good, man. So we were together just yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
So for Solidworks Live Design, it was your first time as a guest presenter. We mentioned yesterday it was our first time live in person. How'd you like being on Live Design?
Oh yeah, I liked it a lot, man. I thought we had a great time. You know, we had great engagement from the community, some really great questions. So, you know, it's always nice to be able to pass on tips and tricks that you learned over the course of your whole career, and that was a great platform for doing that.
Yeah, that's a great point. We had so many great questions, and for those of you who were there yesterday in the live chat, like you are today, thank you once again for submitting again those amazing questions. And as a reminder for today, I have this tablet here because I'm looking for your questions. We are live. We proved that yesterday. Again, so many amazing questions that came in that thankfully Barry mostly answered really effectively. So we'll be looking out for those. So I was just talking to Dave just a moment ago.
Yep.
And we got a little bit into the Titans of CNC Academy, but not so much. And I know you and I, you know, before we met in person this week, we've talked a lot about Academy content. But, you know, just in your eyes, as we do a little bit more of a deep dive into what the Academy is, how would you describe the Titans of CNC Academy?
So very early on, you know, Titan noticed that somewhere where other countries excel and where America kind of fails is in apprenticeship programs. So, you know, we have this skills gap, and Titan asked himself, you know, how can I reach enough people to really make a difference in the United States of America as far as, you know, bringing new apprentices into the trade and training people up from, you know, knowing nothing into being an exceptional CNC programmer. And so what he did is created the Titans of CNC Academy, which is a free academy that's available to the entire world that takes someone that has anywhere from zero experience working in fast food all the way to people who've been in the trade for years and just want to improve their skill sets. So what the Titans of CNC Academy is an apprenticeship program that is the best in the world. It's the best place for a person to go and learn at their own pace and just go from knowing nothing to being a designer, a CNC programmer, and a machinist.
And it's free, right? It's free.
And it's free. It's how do you get better than that, you know? And you know, even in other countries, when you have a master machinist, they can usually train anywhere between 1 and 10 apprentices over the course of their career. But you know, I talked a little bit on our first day live, how we have an apprentice here who came in from high school with absolutely no experience, and within 10 days, he had made it through our entire building block series. So that's 10 different parts that he was able to design in SolidWorks, program in Mastercam, and then come to the machine and actually machine himself. Now, speaking for myself, that was a process that took years. You know, I didn't machine and program my own parts for years. And so for this guy to have been able to do that as an 18-year-old straight out of high school is incredible. And that really speaks to how good the Academy is.
Absolutely. And I talked about it with Dave. I've been saying it just walking around your shop here, that one of the, you know, we see, you go on the Academy website, you see all the logos, you know, we go on the Academy, we go on your social channels, whatever. You see the power of your different partnerships, but being here in person, right, it's like you really get the grasp, the depth of your capabilities, and that's why you guys are able to do that, right? It's like you have these amazing partnerships that you guys have established, right over time, and we're super thankful to be a part of it. You know, speaking of, you talked about how, and I've seen the stories, which is one of the coolest things for me personally about this partnership. I talked about it a moment ago, how, you know, you'll be on Facebook and you'll see, it's like, okay, this person, they started out at a completely different end of their life, their career. They've gone through the academy training, and now they're starting their first job in the industry. Like it's just super awesome. You know, for those of us watching at home, and again, any questions you guys have, feel free to ask them. I'm monitoring, you know, actively here. For those of us at home that haven't really explored the academy yet, you know, just tell us a little bit about how SolidWorks figures into it.
Sure. So You know, Solidworks has always been my favorite CAD platform. You know, I started using it in 2005. I love it. It's incredibly user-friendly. It's one of the most intuitive softwares I've ever used. And when people ask me, you know, Barry, how do I take my career as a CNC programmer to the next level? I always tell them there's a lot of peripheral things that they can do that can really make them stand out from their peers. And one of those is 3D CAD and design. And, you know, as a CNC programmer, we're constantly creating, you know, models of fixturing. We're constantly modifying models that have been sent to us by engineering teams. And so really, as far as I'm concerned, CAD is the foundation upon which CNC programmers are built. And so, you know, if you go onto our academy, you know, and you go look at a learning series, say the building blocks, you look at the Titan 1M, the very first thing you see is design the Titan 1M in SolidWorks. And you have somebody who's a master at SolidWorks teaching you step by step how to design that part. And they do that for every single part in all of our series, in the Aerospace Academy, the Rocket series, the building blocks. So SolidWorks really plays a pivotal role in that.
Absolutely, and it was, you guys can imagine, you know, you guys make all this content in-house, but you know, I actually, at the beginning of our partnership, I used to be the guy that you guys would email and say like, hey, we have these new videos, you know, for review. You know, just make sure the branding and everything was like, you know, the way it's supposed to be. It's typical video stuff. And I was just super excited whenever it'd be you or, you know, Russell or Billy. Just be like, oh, I cannot wait to watch these. It never gets old, right? Like we were saying, you know, yesterday, just when you really have a passion for something, when you really love something, and I think we both share a passion for design and for SolidWorks, yeah, it never gets old. You know, speaking of which, we talked about how, you know, people are entering into this field at different phases. And, you know, SolidWorks has been around for a long time now, right? Over 20 years. We've had it at an educational level, at a commercial level. But one of the things that we talked about at the very beginning of this partnership, I remember we were on the phone with Titan, is he's like, yeah, we just need to make sure that, you know, if someone's not in the industry yet, that they just have a way to follow along with these tutorials, right? Which means more than just watching videos and watching the picks and clicks. That can get you a little bit of the way, but obviously like to actually make that part that you're seeing on the screen. If someone at home, right, you're watching this stream, you don't have SolidWorks right now, you want to follow along with those tutorials, we have a way to do that, right?
We do, yeah. And that's really the beautiful thing about, you know, what SolidWorks has done for this partnership is if you go onto our academy, academy.titansofcnc.com, and you go to the resources tab, you'll find a special offer from SolidWorks, and it's SolidWorks for makers, and I think it's $8 a month. So for less than the price of a hamburger today, you can learn a trade that will, you know, provide for your family for your entire life. So, you know, it's super easy to do. They've streamlined it, you know, so well. And if you're interested in following along in our academy, you know, that is an awesome opportunity for you guys at home.
Yeah, you can get it right there. Now, that's a cool thing, and this is the case with a lot of partners, right? You know, that you can go on your website, get sort of exclusive or easier access to be able to learn. And like you mentioned, you average it out, so it's 20% off. You know, the $99 USD, you know, cost per year. You average it out, yeah, it's even less. Right, yeah, it's crazy. So we're just together. We're trying to make things more accessible. Obviously, like we said, the learning content, the course content is all free, and it's an unprecedented, you know, price. And it has, you know, we have SolidWorks in that bundle. It's a bundle that has SolidWorks in it, as well as a bunch of other tools. You know, our new cloud tools, and some other stuff we'll talk about with John in just a moment. But yeah, Barry, once again, I've said it probably 1,000 times to you again, you know, just over the course of this week, but it's been awesome meeting in person. It's been great getting to know you through this partnership, through the Champions program. And yeah, I'm sure we'll chat again soon.
I'm absolutely sure we will.
For
it's
sure.
been a pleasure, Sean. Great to meet you, and good talking to you guys live.
Absolutely. And we're gonna check in with John in just a moment. Oh, no one's.
Sorry.
I didn't know where she...
Hey, John?
Hey,
Hey, is now an okay time?
Sean. Yes, of course. How
What's
are
going
you?
on, man? Good to see you. Yeah, so I was just, it's so funny, you know, even, you know, we work on the same team together,
Yeah.
but even you, like I'd never met you in person until this week.
Well, it's my privilege really to meet you, and to meet a lot of the people out here that we've had a lot of fun with during the week.
Oh.
I mean, it's been a blast.
I mean, Barry pretty much said it, you know, he said it the first day on Manufacturing Live, right? Just walking around here, you know, Titans of CNC, their team moved here from California just a couple years ago, but you just see the crazy range of capabilities. It really is, like you said, it's really like a Disneyland for machinists.
And I thought that was a really great quote from the other
I
day.
do too,
It
yeah.
is a Disneyland for machinists, and you're looking at some of the greatest technology. This machine alone
Yeah.
is a 9-axis machine
It's insane.
with multiple spindles.
No,
There's not much
Yeah.
it can't do.
it's not every day, right? You see a machine like this, you see this crazy range of production capabilities, and
Right.
in terms of media, in terms of making parts,
Right, right.
it's just unbelievable. But yeah, we were just talking with Barry, right? I was just over there, ran
Yeah.
over to get into the shot. But yeah, we were just chatting about the Maker Edition, right?
Sure.
That
Sure.
we talked about how there's a special offer for Academy members, right? 20% off, already crazy low price.
Right.
And that Maker Edition, it's not static. Like we're constantly adding to it.
And that's incredible because you get an increased value proposition as you go along in time.
Yeah, and so we actually added to it fairly recently, though, right?
Yes. Yes.
On your end, so you work for those of us at home. Like John works in our manufacturing group,
Yes.
right? So we actually added something called Shop Floor Programmer, right? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
We did, yeah. Well, first of all, it's an incredible product. It, of course, connects to the platform, right? So the platform, as we all know, is a transformative technology that can transform your entire company. NSR, where it actually fits in, is our new product that's basically using hand-picked technologies. So it's going to give you capabilities to be able to do mostly milling, but of course you can do any type of, you know, any sort of plasma work, laser work, any sort of 2.5-axis work. You can do really advanced 3-axis work as well, very complex 3-axis work. And we'll also give you 3+2 positioning so that you can pre-position to any of the different sides you want on your material. I mean, you can go ahead and machine it. Now, there's a couple of other really cool things in NSR that I've got to mention. One of them is automatic feature recognition. So we use feature recognition from HCL Technologies that will go in and actually, it looks at all the different topology of the solid model, the part being manufactured, and it figures out what are the pockets, what are the slots, what are the bosses, and it gathers that geometry up and it saves that geometry within our tree. Now this allows us later on to instantly access that geometry and assign a feature to it. So it's really, really cool. Saves a lot of time. And we've also got an ability called feature reuse. Now feature reuse is a very, very powerful capability where, let's say I program a pocket and it's for titanium. And I've got it set up for, well, certain type of criteria for radial engagement, depth of cut, surface feed, etc. What I can do is I can reapply that information to my current part that I'm programming and create a link to it.
Wow.
So if I go back to the master and make a change, it affects all the downstream parts. So it's really, really great technology.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I know that it's something that's been in demand. You know, this Maker offer is
Sure.
very new. You know, came out, but you know, a lot of technology isn't. And it's just been it's been amazing, you know, actually being able to talk about this stuff by machines.
Yes.
Even that, I mean, when we debuted at the Maker Offer itself, right, it was just a simple like live stream in an office.
Right, right.
But it's been so fantastic to be here. So just to talk a little bit about what we're doing, even over the course of this week. This is the third of 3 streams, right?
Yes.
We had Manufacturing Live. We talked about how yesterday we had Barry.
Yes.
On live design, but then we had Barry again on Manufacturing Live the day prior, and you were the host of that, right?
Yes.
You took on the hosting duties. So
And
how was that?
it was fantastic because what I really loved about that session was that I got the inside stories of each and every one of the team members. And it's that, you know, in manufacturing, there's just so many great stories about how we each found our way to the manufacturing arena.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
Sure.
And like I talked about, you know, when I was 10 years old and my dad said, "What do you want to be?" I didn't raise my hand and say, "Dad, it's manufacturing for me."
How many professions? I mean, did you like? I would love to even know of, you know, those of you in the chat here. Again, just monitoring for questions. But how many professions do you feel like you knew of? I feel like I might have known of like a handful of things I could be.
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. So there were things like doctor, lawyer, astronaut, dad, wanted to be in the Marines at one time, you know, so, but it's really interesting. Everybody in manufacturing has a unique story about how they found their way into manufacturing.
Sure.
And how blessed they were to find it, because once you have the ability to design and then to create the end product and put it on the floor, it completes an entire loop. And you become empowered. You become empowered to be able to create, to envision, and then to produce and put it on the floor. And I tell you, that is an exciting thing to be able to do.
Absolutely. It's interesting. So we're talking about like all of these series, all the series that we have. It's SolidWorks Live, SolidWorks Live Design.
Sure.
You know, it's SolidWorks Manufacturing Live. So we talk a lot about SolidWorks. The package that we talked about earlier, just going back to the software side.
Sure.
You know, it's Delmia, right?
Yes.
And maybe some of our users at home are not so familiar with that. And maybe they see, you know, some of the screen capture and it's like, hey, that's not SolidWorks. Like how does that fit in with the Maker Edition? Like so you can bring SolidWorks parts in, right?
Oh, parts come directly in, and we're able to not only bring in all of the intelligence toolbox features, but all your sketches and all your planes come across, and that associativity is maintained up on the platform with the digital twin.
So it's not just a dumb disconnected.
Oh,
solid.
Absolutely not. In fact, we can take it through life cycle maturity as well, and everything is associative. So it's phenomenal. The idea is that you can design in SolidWorks, you know, a familiar desktop tool, but then you can go ahead and push it to the platform for all the really exotic downstream applications that you want to run.
And we've talked, you know, we hear the word new a lot, right? Announcements and new software, it's kind of cool. But at the same time, you know, a lot of times when I'm looking at software, new sometimes isn't a great word, right? So Delmia is you know, we talked about shop floor programmer being new to this offer, the Maker offer being new.
Yes.
But Delmia isn't new, right?
Delmia is not. And you bring up a great point. Shop floor programmers actually hand-pick pieces of technology in our existing line. And so what we've done is we've done that specifically for a maker type offer to give you all the functionality that you would want as a maker. Now, if we go back in time, so where's our technology come from? Let's go back to 1981, right? When Dassault Aviation spun off a company called Dassault Systems.
Yeah.
Which is what you see today.
Yeah.
Basically, you know, this PLM company, right, that specializes in CAD as well as CAM, and a lot of other technologies as well as we get into Geovia and Biovia and some of the others. But our machining algorithms are over 40 years old. And we've been machining those, and they've been used at companies like Boeing and in the aerospace industry and the automobile industry, for decades and decades. In fact, everything is, we don't license anything external. We go ahead and R&D all of our own internal algorithms. And the only thing that we did was in 1998, we acquired Matra Data Vision. And the reason that we did that was because they had an incredible capability to do 3-axis machining for mold and die making. And it was just so advanced that we purchased that technology and we basically wove it into our R&D and our code.
Awesome. Well, John, it was great to catch up with you. I'm sorry I took your head out of the machine.
That's all right, man. We're getting ready for a setup.
Hope it wasn't too disruptive for you. But
not at all. My pleasure.
Yeah, man. We're talking all about these different acronyms here. So, yeah, we teased this a little bit at the beginning of the episode, but we're actually going to announce and show you a little bit of CNC Expert here, which I'm super excited about. I'm sure you, fan of the trades, right? Like you'll love this. So definitely tune in if you have a chance to again keep your head out of the machine.
Thank you, Sean.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
That's awesome. Hey, welcome back, Sean.
Oh, thanks. All right, we're back. I'm out of breath.
This guy.
Wasn't that far away. What's up, man?
How's it going, dude?
How are you? Good to see you again. Yeah. So this is a big moment, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about this, and we mentioned it a little bit earlier. You know, I saw a little bit of a preview when we had like our little Zoom meeting on it. But yeah, CNC Expert. Tell us again. Just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So CNC Expert, once again, is it's a new platform we're coming out with. Okay, so Titans of CNC is releasing this brand new platform, cncexpert.com. Not released yet. You can go right now. You can go to the site and you can actually sign up to get notified when we do go live with it. You'll be one of the first to get your user profile, that kind of thing. But really, what CNC Expert is it's the brainchild of Titan. It is literally his looking at the industry and saying, the way that we hire people is broken. The days of somebody sliding a resume across the table and you reading off their list of accomplishments, and you see a bullet point that says, manages difficult work holdings. Okay.
You know everything you need to know,
what
right?
does that tell you? Yeah. Oh, perfect. You're hired on the spot. Yeah. Let me give you all the money in the world.
Yeah.
What it doesn't actually show you is what work holdings. What have they shown?
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is create a place online where somebody can really encompass their entire digital existence for their career. Right? LinkedIn doesn't do it.
No.
LinkedIn is not great. I mean, we love LinkedIn. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. But it's not great at showcasing what you're capable of. It's great at having a list of jobs and interacting with folks, but it doesn't necessarily give you a place to showcase those. There are profile sites or portfolio sites where you can show your images of what you've done, but you're also not getting then the business side of things and the connection. Facebook is great for your personal stuff, but it's also not giving you that kind of business interaction. So what CNC Expert is, it's a place where all of those things come together, and again, 100% free.
Yeah.
So.
That's insane. We've talked about how at the beginning we even talked about it, how it's a place for, it's better than any resume, right? You talked about the bullet point idea. It's not going to really tell you very much if you're hiring, but furthermore, like if you're actually the person applying, like how confident can you be that you're translating to that person who doesn't know you,
right?
What you can do and what your skills are. So that's how you describe it, right? It's like it's better than any resume for machinists, for engineers, right? That's kind of the big picture.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we can show you guys some clips actually, so you guys can get a sneak peek.
Yeah.
At this whole thing, right? So the first clip I want to show you guys is going to be a little bit like a screen scroll. We're still in development. We're almost 99.9% there, right? We're just putting the finishing touches on it. So what I'm going to show you guys first is the profile page. Now this is Titan's own profile page, so you're going to get to see kind of exactly what goes into one of these, right? And this is literally, you're seeing his profile picture, you're seeing some personal projects, you get to see all of the certificates that he's achieved through the CNC Expert platform, which is a huge part of this, is the certificates. At the bottom of that screen, you actually get to see all of those, and when you click into one of those certificates, so I'm going to show you guys a certificate page next. When you click into one of those certificates, you are going to see what the person had to accomplish in order to achieve that certificate, right? It goes so much further beyond just a piece of paper. We have a beautiful certificate for you, obviously, but it also shows the skills that were demonstrated in order to achieve that certificate. The person can also then add additional photos below. They can add video. There's interaction that can happen in there, so that when you go to a prospective employer and you say, hey, I know these things, they're not just trusting a bullet point on your resume. They're not just trusting that you listed a certificate that they've never seen. They can literally go in and check and see, do you know this? And it gives you that legitimacy, especially being attached to a website called CNC Expert / Sean / Dave Cox. Like, that's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Next thing I'm going to show you guys, and we're going through this kind of fast, but I want to show you guys a personal project. Now, this personal project page it goes kind of beyond that certificate, right? This is where you get to showcase the work that you've done. Now, we obviously have, IP sensitivities and that kind of stuff. You can't show everything, but on the parts that you can show, this is where you really get to showcase your abilities. You're going to throw the picture of the part, some specs about it, and then when you scroll down on that page, people can actually they can interact, they can make comments, and you guys can have a conversation about what that part is. And then the really cool part is when you get to the Discover page. The Discover page is really our social hub. This is where you're going to see a feed, global feed, all over the place of real life makers, manufacturers, designers, programmers, and what kind of projects they're coming up with in the moment. And so that feed kind of auto-populates. Every time you refresh the page, you're going to get something new, and you can go into those projects and see the specs, interact with people, and you can get your likes, and you can get all your views and all that kind of stuff, right? You can rise through the ranks, and there's some fun interaction that happens there. So that's my preview for you guys.
Yeah, crazy, just crazy. And you mentioned you can go to cncexpert.com right now, right, and sign up for alerts.
Exactly.
Yeah, super cool stuff.
Yeah.
We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but it's just that idea, that type of idea where it's like, how does this not exist already?
Right.
It's 2022, but you realize being here, talking to you guys, the fact we've talked about the Academy a lot during this episode, all of your partners, the power of those partnerships, how you're not only able to bring, this service to bear, but also, like you said just a moment ago, let's be really clear about it. Like it's free.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And it's again going back to the ethos of the company and really led by Titan. I mean, I don't want to blow smoke up his skirt, and I never do, but the guy is a visionary, honestly. Like, when he gives us a vision, a true visionary doesn't look at what the market needs and say, I'm going to go build that. Visionary looks at or what they're asking for and then goes and builds it. He looks at ahead to see where are the holes, what's happening in the future. If we stay on this trajectory, where will we end up and what do we need to get there? That's what Titan's doing with building the entire shop, with building the education, with bringing in partners. Nobody else was doing this. And that's what we're doing with CNC Expert, is we're saying LinkedIn alone is not enough. Portfolio sites are not enough. The certifications that exist in the industry for what we do with some of the folks that do them, they're not enough. There is not a standard, a true standard for 5-axis machining in our industry, and that's insane. Because you look at other places, you look at China, you look at places that we're competing with on a global scale, and they have a government mandate to push manufacturing. We don't have that here. And so we're really trying to do our best to help bring everybody together, show what's possible. These certifications, I mean, it is a legitimate process through the CAD certificates, CAM certificates, and CNC. It's a process. Your parts will get inspected, your models will get inspected, everything comes through, and then you get to prove that you know how to do those things. So really, really powerful system, and it's coming out. I can't give you an exact date, but it's going to be in the next few months, and we're super excited about it.
Yeah, me too. You guys were able to see all those, some people might see as like disparate, disconnected pieces, because you guys are involved in so much, a little bit of everything. And like you said, having a visionary at the top like Titan, is able to take his experience and also just see all the pieces and put something brand new together.
100%.
You guys are not fast followers, right?
No, exactly, and it really comes from, it always shocks me because Titan has all these global CEOs of these companies on his phone, and he literally just is like, I'll just ask him. And he just pulls out his phone, he texts the global CEO of a billion-dollar company and says, hey, what are the plans for this? And then he gets the information, and then we can take that, put it in with all the other information we're getting from Solidworks and from other folks, and say, this is kind of the place we see that we need to go in the future. And it's, there's a lot of times where I'm just being led, and I go, hey, I trust you. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
So I'm just checking the chat here. So yeah, it's interesting. You know, one thing we've talked about throughout the course of this week is just that you guys are continuing to scale, you know, your capabilities and different types of partners. Like one question is, do you see Titans of CNC boarding the train of additive manufacturing? I know the answer to that question.
Boarding
You guys,
the train.
yeah.
Come on, we're the conductors of it. Are you kidding me? Yeah, absolutely.
You guys have so much out there, though. That's
Yep.
the thing. It's like there's always something to discover.
Exactly. You know, one of the things that we believe and that I preach a lot is the more roads into your city, the better, right? We want to be on every interstate that anybody happens to be on, and whether you're driving a Kia on that road or a Ferrari, we want to give you guys the ability, the skills, the information to do better, to be more efficient, to run faster. You don't have to run at 1,000 inches per minute like Titan does, but if you're running at 100, you can probably double that to 200, since we've shown you can safely do it at 1,000, right? Now that just doubles your production. So yeah, it's funny too, because people come to us through one avenue or another, and then they go, oh, I didn't realize you guys also did, hey, you had a grinding academy? That's amazing. I didn't realize you were also already doing additive, like we're doing metal additive through, we have Trump and we have Mark Forge, different partners there, showing, you know, not just the extrusion type additive, but also the powder beds, that kind of thing. We have wire EDM. I mean, it's literally everywhere, and there's plans for further expansion into Swiss, all that kind of stuff. So
That was definitely day one. You know, we just kind of walked through, you know, again, like kid in the candy store type stuff. As you guys can imagine, we went into your additive area and just seeing like some of the Mark Forge parts there, and I'm like, you know, it's one of those scenarios where like you see it's insane. I'm sure you all can relate. It's, you know, there's huge machines, then there's this part that's probably about, you know, this big. And that's what grabs your attention, because you're just like, oh, I have to go see it, like actually feel that, and how much does it weigh, and like all the cross sections and stuff like that are exposed.
it was just impossible a few years ago. You know,
Yeah.
And now it's normal.
Yeah.
It's achievable for folks, and you know, there's all the different levels that somebody can get into it for. So it's just really nice to be able to show those levels.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's been fantastic meeting you. It's been fantastic being here this week, and of course, you know, the partnership. It's going to continue to grow and scale. You guys are doing crazy things.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
So absolutely.
We love you guys too, man. We appreciate Solidworks so much. You guys have, you know, between you, Ian, Matt, everybody have just been. You've embraced us as a company, which we really appreciate. You know, we always find success when, like we said before, right? When people are passionate about the same things, you can't help but rocket forward together at a multiplier. So it's been great. You guys, Suchit, everybody, kind of bringing this partnership on board, and we're looking forward to a lot of years moving forward.
Absolutely. Dave, thanks a lot for coming on, man. And thank you guys for watching. We're about here at the end of the episode. Just want to once again remind you, you can go to cncexpert.com, sign up for notifications. That service will be coming out, as you said, Dave, soon.
Yeah.
So, you know, be sure to look out for that. That's going to be, I already know it, a total game changer. You can go to academy.titansofcnc.com.
Yep.
You mentioned tons of academies, tons of content you can take advantage of today. And yeah, again, that about does it. The Titan Trifecta, the crazy marathon it's concluded. Be sure while you're here to like, subscribe. We have pretty much a live stream going on, if not every week, almost every week with the 3 series we have here at Solidworks. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Awesome, man. We can't end this without a boom, right?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Boom!
There it is.
Yeah, man.
Good job.